Welcome to the Week 10 preview presented on the Saturn channel. We have all of the games happening this week. It's going to be huge as we have some good matchups for you this week. You know, we're leading off with Gold Silverbacks, another flex Gold, third week in a row on the flex. They are the team. They are the enigmatic team. Dodge Magazine has an article on them. You know, you look at their roster, they're built like a playoff team. They just don't have the wins. They've had some head scratchers. I mean, 2 losses versus Phoenix could change their fortunes immediately. They had understandable losses versus the Diamonds, Sea Dogs, Silverbacks, week 5. That was a close game. I mean, they've had close games, and then so they've been the enigmatic team coming out on the points race, number 10 points wise with only 3 wins. Silverbacks, absolute opposite side of the story, 7-2 record. But they are 10 points behind the Silverbacks, despite beating the Silverbacks head-to-head in a matchup in week 5. It was a 9-set affair. Let's see here. 9-set affair was 38-36 index. So, I mean, just very, and that's what the way they've been winning all year. But look for. If Lenore doesn't have a big game, I think the Silverbacks get this easily. The league is hoping that the Silverbacks get this easily. I mean, a 7-2 team not making the playoffs is just ridiculous. The Gold 3-6 team making the playoffs easily, also ridiculous, So let's just pray the Silverbacks do the right thing, which is never the case in history. These guys have always been the 2 on the cusp of messing up the playoff system. Remember back season 2009-2, I believe, when there was 3 teams that made the playoffs because the Silverbacks just couldn't pull it together to get a winning record, holding back a bunch of other potential playing games. The Gold, a couple years, their championship season, they were number 8 in the league. They were 5-5 during the season. Silverbacks were the opposite. They had opposite games where Silverbacks had great set wins and the Gold had terrible set wins, yet they were on the same plane, played in the divisional round. Gold won, and obviously the rest was history. Gold won the championship that season. And then obviously the super famous incident was when the AP system versus the Flex power ranking system. The Gold were completely favored to go to the playoffs at a 4-6 record, and then the league had to implement the new tested that was supposed to just be in beta for the season AP rankings. They had to use them to get the Gold out of there. So the Gold have always been the tester of ranking systems, and this year has been no different all year. They've not won much, but they've always been in the race, and they're the front runner for the points race in the West. So it's a very pivotal game. I think the Silverbacks will win. I doubt it'll be more than 5-3. So it'll be a fight to the finish to see if the Silverbacks make the playoffs. Next game, St. Cats hosting the Toros. Cats have just not been what they want to be. It's been a bad couple years for them. Toros, everybody's forgetting that this team is still undefeated. They slipped to number 3 somehow, despite never losing a game. But they played some pretty bad games. I mean, the Dragonfish game 2 weeks ago was not the best. The Skylarks game, they completely should have lost that game. The Skylarks fell on their face towards the end. The Toros just, maybe they're sleeping for the playoffs, but they're just not looking their best, and people are just kind of murmuring that the Checkers might run upon them. But we'll see. Maybe the Toros finally just get out of their slump, blast this one out, reclaim their maybe the number 1 spot with a great game. But we'll see. Reapers, Gremlins, 2 teams that just wish the season was over. Gremlins cannot get a win. Reapers, they had a little bit of a win streak in the middle of the season. Everybody was wondering, hey, can they do it? But no, they're pretty much toast as well. It's just been a weird season in the Midwest with the Reapers and Gremlins just completely tanking. And for a while, it looked like the Captains as well, but they ripped off a couple of wins, and now the Midwest is interesting again. But yeah, I don't even care about this game at all. I'm just excited to see Hansen and T2, how good they can be. Gremlins keep crying over Mills. Everybody was hoping Mills could be the face of the team, but he's just not been good. Diamonds, Pharaohs, it's been really impressive. The Diamonds just their only division loss came to the Pharaohs. That was the Pharaohs' kind of revival games where they were serious playoff contenders, and now they're back out on the outside. Diamonds 4-game win streak. They've just been the be-all, end-all. All they need is to win a single set in this game to be crowned the division lead and secure their spot in the playoffs. Shouldn't happen any other way. Silverbacks have a super outside chance of getting it. With, they would have to sweep the gold, and the Diamonds would have to lose. I mean, it would have to be a extreme scenario. But Pharaohs pretty dejected with last week's performance. They got completely skunked by the gold, and they're just, for all intents and purposes, out of the points race. It's just going to be sad. It's Charlie's 4th year, and last year was the only chance he had at a square shot at a playoff run, and Capley messed it up out of all players. Another year, another loss, and they're right on the cusp. Vegas coming up. I mean, they have a team now. It's the West, and I mean, but you can't even make that excuse. The Gold have been messing up all season. The Silverbacks haven't been playing well. I mean, they've been winning, but they haven't been playing well. The Pharaohs just haven't been able to capitalize on some close games. Diamonds should take this, I think. They think they match up better. I think they're so boring of a team because they're just so solid at every position. It's a curse and a gift, But I think the Diamonds will get this at home. Empire, Dizzy Devils. Empire, another team pretty upset at their fortune. It just does not look like, they're 40 points behind the Dizzy Devils in the points race. And they play the Dizzy Devils this week. So, I mean, if with a triumphant win, they could do it. But you look back at week 5, and Dizzy Devils took it in a close game. So if it's a close game, I mean, Dizzy Devils don't care. As long as the Dizzy Devils keep it close here, they can pretty much rest assured that the Sea Dogs will take care of the Margates. So Dizzy Devils just have to keep it close. Doesn't matter if they win or lose. The Empire, they just haven't had the firepower. And Travis he's old. Horn hasn't come on at all, playing-wise, other than just being a captain. And they just haven't looked that explosive. I think the Dizzy Devils are going to take this here in New York City, and it's just going to spell the end of the season for the Empire and maybe Travis's illustrious career. Captain's Checkers on the flex. This is an interesting game we did not think would be flexed to this magnitude. Just at the midway point of this season, the Captains have surged back into the conversation. 2 straight wins versus the Reapers and Scarlet Ember. Super surprising win against the Scarlet Ember last week. It was such a resounding win that they're just back in everything. They're only about, 20 points behind the Scarlet Ember. And, I mean, they're looming. But they have the Checkers, the second best team in the league by all accounts. We can't deny them anymore. They have everything they need. I mean, they have one of the best players in the league in Sven. Who cares about what his ratings are, his stats are everything. He's high efficiency, he's high points. I mean, everything. And the whole team is high efficiency, high index. So they're chock full of talent. Captains, it's going to be a tough matchup because they really have to get 2 blasting wins to get into the playoffs. And Checkers, they don't match up well. They don't have an offense, and their defense is matched by the Checkers defense. So it should be an interesting game here in Denver. I fully suspect the Checkers to win, but I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I think the Checkers would probably get passed by the Toros. I just don't think they're that elite level. Margate Sea Dogs. Margate's well within the points race with the Dizzy Devils. They're only 8 points behind. And the Sea Dogs have clinched up. They don't really have anything to play for now. They have their home playoff game waiting for them, which is ludicrous. And the Margates have a lot to play for, but the Margates, it would behoove the Sea Dogs to miss the Margates in the playoffs because the Margates have power. They have Jay Woods. They have, and remember when Jay Woods was the top of the league? They have Pascal's having a solid season, and Timor, great second arm. He's just a nice second-hand man. And, they have the Samir. When they made those trades with the Gremlins, they got clutch players for the postseason. That's what Jay Woods is. That's what Samir is. So it'll be interesting to see what happens if the Margates can get in. I don't think that the Sea Dogs are going to let them win this one, and especially if it's a blowout win. I think the Margates are kind of out of contention. The Dizzy Devils are sitting pretty going into Week 11. Phoenix versus the Jocks, just a pride game here. Both these new teams, both have hard divisions, and they're just kind of clawing for every win they can get right now. I think the Phoenix, they have the best player in the league with Greeley. Greeley's amazing. Everybody's just waiting for him to get the next piece of the puzzle. Problem with that is he's demanding a lot of money, and it's just kind of hard to build on such a tight budget. So we'll have to see what happens with that in the postseason. But right now, I think the Jocks are a worse team than the Phoenix, and I think the Phoenix are just going to wrap their home schedule up pretty nicely here. Rivera and the boys, it's not looking good for Rivera, despite his, long resume, his 7 straight playoff appearances. I mean, that was a long time ago, and he hasn't shown that he has a team that's put together enough to win. I mean, they're the second worst team in the league by a lot of statistics. It's just another bad season for him. Skylarks, Dragonfish. Skylarks, I mean, it's sad that it's so out of reach for them. They're not. You look at their roster and you just realize that all the hype bubble is burst, really. They don't have anything to show for a team. They don't have an offense. They got Spoon hoping he would be an offensive weapon. He went defensive. So they have Spoon, a Potts that's just fizzled. He was supposed to be the new Maurice this season. It was supposed to be Potts' team this year. But, Maurice is still chugging along as the leader of the team. And, Elios, he had a lot put on him. He's in his later in his career, and he's not built to be a lead thrower. Or Osonio, sorry. He's in the twilight of his career. He's supposed to be, tutoring young guns, but they've just let him alone, and he's done what he can, but not a very good first option for them. But, they're playing the Dragonfish. This used to be a fierce rivalry. Hasn't been in a really long time, though, which is kind of a shame. Dragonfish used to be the perennial team. And now we all know they're going to lose this game. I mean, can this team just fold early? I mean, this has been a brutal season to watch. And to wrap things up, Scarlet Ember Interceptors. This one is for a tiny bit of the marbles. For the Scarlet Ember, it's a very, very important game all of a sudden. They're scrambling because they lost to the Captains. If they had beat the Captains last week, they secure the division lead. Interceptors are so far ahead in the points race, they would secure the points lead. Midwest would be boring, wrapped up. But no, Scarlet Ember fumbled big time last week, and they're paying for it now. And they have to play the Interceptors, who they barely beat in Week 5. That was a very nice game. It was flexed up and everything. It was a very nice game. You got a team MVP. Ramsey led the game points-wise. Skogstad did his thing with 3 interceptions. Weak game from Kyle on the Interceptors side. But I expect, I don't know. I think this is going to have a playoff atmosphere, and I'm pretty sure we're going to see these two in the playoffs in 2 weeks. But this is going to be a nice era. The era has not left the Midwest at all. These two are the perennial teams. And I expect either 8 or 9 sets here. It should be exciting, should be great. And we hope to see you there. And we'll join us in San Francisco for the early flex of the week, Gold Silverbacks, live from San Francisco Golden Gate Arena.